Brentocast, episode 32, back for an epic update. It's been about a month, guys, just a couple days short of a month since the last episode, and a lot has gone down in that time. Without boring you, I will say that it has been a super busy early or late winter month with a lot of very strange weather here where I live in Albemarle, North Carolina. That aside, we managed to get a lot done and be very progressive with our work toward all aspects of life, really. The store is doing super hopping busy business. There may be a little bit of disruption in my work schedule because I may be having to take over some of my son's duties. He's being very negligent because he's gotten interested in door-to-door sales. Hey, man, it happened to me. That's better than some other things he could be interested in. So, I'm just trying to support his decision to want to get out there. But he has a really great job with an almost executive salary. It's physical labor, yeah, but it's just one thing. And so he talks to me as if it's the hardest thing in the world making smoothies all days. And I'm like, son, you've never dug ditches. You've never warehoused pipe. You've never been a welder. You've never been a crane operator. You've never been a carpenter. All these things your boy has done here. And I can tell you definitively that while that may not be the easiest job, if you can watch Netflix while you do it, it ain't a hard job. Okay. So anyway, I may be taking over for him for a short time while he goes out in the world and figures out that everybody doesn't treat you like your mom and your dad, but hey, this is life. Some things have happened in the last couple of weeks that have really made me a bit introspective. When I wake up in the morning, one thing, let me just say, I've been eating clean and I've lost a little bit of weight as regards to that, and also a result of that. And I'm feeling really good. So when I'm feeling good, I'm feeling creative. When I'm feeling creative, busy at the grindstone of music, trying to create, because that's what I'm here for. And the studio has been just going great. We've just about put down at least something for each and every song on 2 albums that Harrison and I are doing at Snug Record Studios. Eddie Snuggs, the man, thank you so much for your support. We have been getting some good stuff down. And, as a player, I always aspire to be better and better, and I've had a chance to sort of prepare some things and get myself on this album in some new ways. I once again played drums on a song, which is not something I typically do, but back to gratefulness and thankfulness and mindfulness. My good online friend, Les Lyndon Garner, aka 6S1, the great artist, that's what I think of him as. I guess an casual internet buddy of mine going back to 2003, and at least on some level, our friend in real life. We're not super close friends, but he's somebody I've always respected for sure. I definitely thought there was a time that we were going to be buddies. I mean, I went all the way up to Kentucky to visit him, stay with him for, 4 or 5 days. We did a show together, a music show, great musician and all this, just super talented, very much like the kind of character that I sort of envision myself trying to be in many ways. Unfortunately, he had a little health crisis that paralyzed him on his left side, and he's really working to recover from that. And seeing somebody that you know well enough to care about go through that, and what that they can share on social media, it really gives you a focus on your own self and the things that you normally complain about. We complain about every day. How's it going? In Japan, I will say this: when somebody asks you how's it going or how are you doing, you respond solely as with Genki desu. I'm doing fine. I'm fine, because compared to most people in this world, chances are you probably are fine. If you get up in the morning, you got 2 legs at work, 2 hands at work, you got all your fingers, you got your eyes, you got your ears, you got your sense of smell, you can taste food. You are ahead of many people in this world, my friends. So how are you doing today? You're doing great today. Today's a special day. Every day above ground is a special day. That's the truth, Ruth. Believe it. Your boy Johnny Brento said it, maybe not first, but finally. Anyway, sucks to see him going through that. And today's his birthday. Now, he doesn't typically follow my social or anything else, so he probably won't hear this. But hey, Les, if you do happen to hear episode 22 of Brentocast on March 19th, 2023, happy birthday, bud. Brento loves you. Moving right along, we have been doing so much cool stuff with Delilah, and I'm ever trying to expand her horizons. I mean, I'm really getting that feeling that her childhood has almost slipped away from us. She's only going to be a little kid for maybe like another year and a few months. I mean, she's already exhibiting signs of, becoming her own girl and her own person. But she's still self-aware enough to know that, like, we're tight, and she'll grab me and say, Papa, you're my best friend. I love you. And I'm like, if you aren't the sweetest kid, give me that face. I'm going to kiss you right now. She's a big hugger and kisser. When we part, she always wants to give me a hug and a kiss. And she's actually that way with her little friends too. It's really sweet to see. But I've continued to keep her in gymnastics, which big shout out to Stanley County Gymnastics. You guys do amazing work. I'm not sure you even realize how important the work you do is. God bless you. Miss Paige, Shay, all y'all over there, we love you. I appreciate the work that y'all do. And they talk about never getting like short with a kid or impatient. And those kids once in a while have bathroom accidents and stuff that you'd rather not deal with. They're awesome. They are really awesome. But the cool thing is I can see it, and I have a client that's a longtime student over there, and she is very mature for her age. And my takeaway is that they produce really solid human beings over there, boys and girls. So I'm impressed with that place. And I think that, the old saying, the old adage, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. I can tell you firsthand this is true because me and Chris were left to our own devices, and we did things like shoot small animals, torture frogs, throw darts at frogs, shoot each other. It's a miracle that we both got out of childhood with both of our eyes. We've both been shot multiple times with pellet rifles. Chris embedded a pellet into his own thumb to see if he could catch it. He shot me in the chest with an arrow. Thank God the tip broke off when it hit my sternum and didn't, impale me. He ran over me with a 4-stroke Kodak motorcycle, threw a barbell at my face, threw gasoline in my face. I did some stuff to him too, which we won't talk about. But the point is, that's because it was left up to us. Like, we were children of the 80s. It was left up to us to entertain ourselves, and entertain ourselves we did. We built flamethrowers. We burnt an entire field of grass without permission. We made fire bombs. We liked fire, man. What can I tell you? It was an awesome time, but that world is gone now. So I think that what's out there for kids to entertain themselves now is not so harmless. Like, I really do think giving my kids access to the internet as early as I did them no favors. I think there's character flaws in both of them that I could attribute to that, and given the opportunity to have something to do with Delilah being raised up, I don't want her to have access to the internet until she's 18 years old, really, apart from like stuff required for school. But, she's going to be a musician. I mean, she's already got it in her. She sings my songs. She memorizes lyrics. At 3.5, come on, this kid is here to be a musician, and I'm going to make sure that she has the tools she needs. One of those tools is, in the next year, I want to start going through the Beato book with her. This teaches me, and it sort of enforces for her that there's actually a blueprint to go by when it comes to music. I mean, the creative part, you just kind of come to that, but the theory part, it's all there, and there are people like Rick Beato who can lay it out for you in a way that is it's pretty easy to understand compared to other pitches I've seen for music theory. Having a guy like Harrison in my life, I told him today, I was like, man, it was one of the best days of my life when you walked in the store and said, hey, I want to talk to Brent about music. Bam. I mean, it really was. It changed the course of the river. You know what I mean? The river of music that was flowing in my life. It changed the course of it. And it got me back more into theory, which is something I really needed to expound on. Why do the Allman Brothers solos sound so different than, say, like Skinner's solos, for example? The type scales they were choosing made them sound really unique, and we're actually doing one of their songs this week. But I don't want to jump. I want to get ahead of myself. Anyway, things are going great with Delilah. We had an epic week this weekend. We culminating this weekend with us taking her Saturday up to Salisbury to Shuck and Shack, one of the places we like to eat seafood at. And I walked with her from there over to the park, and the park is just really awesome. And there's kids just going wild. And eventually we played for about an hour, and she encountered this little girl named Ileana, I believe, and we friended her grandmother. They live close to there, so they could have another play date. But they were so cute. They were just really, really quick buddies, and I got a little video of it. If you want to see that, you can pop over to BrentBowers.com and check out, I believe it is in Weekly Vlog March 20th, 2023. Part 3 would be that one. As always, we did some hiking this week. We did some stuff. I videoed almost all of it, and so we have probably about almost 40 minutes of video up there on that. But yeah, go check that out. From there, we went on over to Davidson Town Center for actually Our Town Cinemas in Davidson, and we tried to watch Shazam. Now, I think Delilah could have got through with it, except the fact that she did not take her nap that day, which is crazy because she played so hard. But we got there, and we got there 20 minutes early, so we went in there, and we had our snacks and stuff, and getting to eat in there, she was kind of blown away by that, and had a great time doing that, but she didn't go to sleep like I thought she would, and she wasn't calm enough to sit through the whole movie. So after about half an hour of that, we had to take turns taking her out, and that was kind of a bummer. But on the bright side, I actually went back and bought the first Shazam movie today on Vudu, and it gave me a free ticket to go see the movie again. So perhaps I will go this week, maybe Wednesday night, and pop out and see the new Shazam. I forget the name of it, something of the gods, for free to get the rewatch. But what I watched, it's not a serious story. It's just a bunch of cool special effects and superhero battles, and in that sense, I enjoyed it. It was very lighthearted, some funny jokes in it, kids almost cussing, things like that. There were a few words that popped out on the previews that I had to kind of cover Delilah's ears, or try to. And the thing is, if she hears a word like, let's say SHIT, for example, she'll pop right back and say that immediately. She knows she's not supposed to say it. She doesn't know what it means, of course, but she will let her rip, man. She'll go weapons free in a quick second. I don't like that, so I want to keep her innocent and sweet for as long as possible. So crazily enough, we haven't been really seeking out players to play live, but we had this opportunity to come along to play these little free sets down at Social Saturdays at downtown, and so we're doing that, and we were able to kind of come up with a quorum for an electric band. Now, first this was going to be Lee McRae, who's been talking to us about playing for some time, but as it turned out, Joe Helms, who I've played with many times, aka Joe Daddy Helms of Brent Bowers fame, playing at Harmanco's, Little Tokyo, all around. Joe and I have been friends since I was about 11 years old, and he's been a drummer pretty much all that time. Ironically, we've never been in like a fully formed band together. We've played in a couple churches together, but Joe's back in the picture now, and he's willing to give us one rehearsal every other week as his schedule can afford, and that's worked out pretty good. So we got together, and Lee really was the sleeper in the whole thing. I thought he was just a little guy who played a little bit of drums, but he's actually proficient on guitar and bass. So he jumped in on bass, Harrison on lead guitar, me on rhythm guitar and primary vocals, and that's worked out pretty good. So what we're going to try to do for this first show, only having had really 2 rehearsals together, is we're going to try to do 10 songs. That's coming up this Saturday at 6:30 at the covered little area down there by the water fountain downtown Albemarle. We're going to try to play those 10 songs and just rock them out, and then we'll just turn around and play those 10 again or whatever. And as the summer goes on, we'll do more and more ambitious stuff, and we'll try to add new songs every time. And, my thinking is if we can get through these 10 shows, they're legitimate shows too, an hour and a half in length. That's almost as long as Harrison and I play at Loafers. Then perhaps we can do an electric performance, maybe at some other spots, perhaps at Loafers, perhaps elsewhere around here. But that'd be a good way to put the band together, to have like shows to go to and to go do, so that it's not just endless practice. And I don't know if these guys will be interested in going in the studio with us, but if they are, that might be something that could happen too. Did have a 2-hour session, really kind of a planning session on finishing off the Southern Lane album that Harrison and I are working on, because we're getting in the short rows now, and we really kind of had to prioritize the last few things. That'll still be the quickest album that I've ever done by a long shot. And then after that, we earlier in the year recorded an album we called 5x5, which was intended kind of as an acoustic only record. We did that with Tony Torres, building the songs around hand percussion really changed them dramatically, and we got some interesting results, and that's an album unto itself. But I really would like to have Tony in on the electric album, and I think that's probably going to happen at some point. But we'll take those recordings, which are charming, and they're good enough, but they're done on our home gear, not at the big studio. And I think we will take them to Snug Records for final mixing, and that'll be a revelation for those, I think, and allow me to kind of get a little bit better singing. So that is something we definitely look forward to. But in any case, the album's coming along great. I've also popped out to Phil Hartzell's house a couple times here and just did some live performing and well, I mean, like, just for jams and stuff, and made little videos and stuff. And I always try to work on things that we're actually working on in the studio. And I did a version of one of my songs from that with Lee and Phil, which is totally different because Phil didn't, he's just kind of making it up on the spot because he doesn't really know the tune from the way we're recording it in the album. But it's kind of interesting to put yourself in those scenarios. And he also is a Studio One guy. Secret Studios here is a user and owner of Studio One with the big board, but we've gotten away from that. But my hope is that Harrison and I can get all that set back up, more headphones, more cables, and have it where when, four guys are up here, everybody can have their own dedicated channel, and we actually record each practice just for posterity, but also to kind of build the band. And maybe eventually, who knows, perhaps a live album will come from some of that. But anyway, the 5x5 album, we're calling that the acoustic album, and that will be available strictly at Album Art Nutrition. I believe we're going to sell it on Jump Drives only. You won't be able to get it on iTunes because it's a bit of a takeaway. It's not like a full-fledged album. It is, but it isn't. We didn't go crazy on redoing things and trying to make it precision. We did record it to a click track with the exception of one song, but it has, for example, saxophone that was recorded up here and things like that. It has hand pan. You'll never hear me use hand pan on another record, probably. I mean, it's just one of them odd things. If you don't know what a pan is, it's like a bronze steel drum with little divots on it that you can play beats on and build rhythms around. And being that Tony was in the house, we utilized him. That was kind of the whole point. But I digress. It is going very, very well indeed. The studio has been a dream this summer, and I just hope to, while Harrison and I are just firing on all cylinders, I just hope to build on that, finish off these two records, do something with my Two Spies music, whether it's make another Two Spies album like, sans Terry on the musical part of it, and just build the songs with Harrison and I, and then perhaps reach out to Terry and see if I can get him to come sing on it with me, or maybe another singer. Who knows? I don't know what the future holds. I just know those songs are good, and I'm particularly enthusiastic to record the ones that I wrote for that project that have never really been properly recorded. It's a thing. It's a thing. It's not Southern rock. It's not really all that Americana. It's more folky, and I don't have an album like that. I think Harrison and I probably, after we do these two albums we're on now, we have the last half of the V Hill Brothers album project coming up in June, I believe, which hopefully this time I think we're going to do it a little bit differently than last time and not put so much pre-work in it because a lot of that work was thrown out, unfortunately. There is actually a song from that called Let Yourself Go that we did an alternate version of, and I think we may actually finish that out just as a one-off and just give that away or whatever. But very Southern rock the way we did it, and wasn't what Dale was looking for, so we redid that song with some crazy counting. But the one song he sent me for the new sessions is pretty straightforward, so I'm hopeful that we can all just kind of show up and record that in the moment with them, get their vocal right then and there, and it'd be more of a there in the room for the creation of the whole song thing. And if I know the songs are simple enough, then I don't have to worry that we'll be able to come up with something brilliant, on the spot. I did a lot of backing vocals and heavy production, things like that before, and I don't think that is really even something that I necessarily need to do for this second half of the project. I look for a lot of that to sort of take care of itself. They were really happy with what we did last time, but thinking of the whole thing as an album, you don't really need to have every song be like, the Fifth Symphony. Holistically, we can kind of get by with some smoother things that just have more of those guys on it and a little bit less of us, I guess. I don't know. You kind of have to know the project. I know what I'm talking about. But hopefully that'll be just like 3-4 up, 3-4 down. So, yeah, it's just the brothers this time. The daughter of one of them is not coming for these sessions, I understand. So maybe a little bit less challenging arrangementally speaking, but it should be straightforward, and I look forward to getting through that. But then I would like to do an album where we write kind of in the style of Jackson Browne. Like if you listen to Jackson Browne Essentials on iTunes playlist, that's what I mean. Just really classical instrumentation, 1970s production values, and it's something that I see working for us. So, and I don't think we have to struggle that hard to get there. With regards to Southern Lane, like I might have mentioned, we are doing a second album in the middle of all that called Bowers Foreman 1. It's just more of a progressive sound. It's not Southern rock. And but the finishing up the songs on, I think we're going to have leftover tunes that potentially would go on a second Southern rock somewhere down the road or an Americana album. But we're going to do Harrison's song called Waiting on the World to Turn, kind of a rocked up Southern rock version of that, which we'll be performing live this Saturday, actually, downtown. But we're going to do that one, and then perhaps we will do my tribute song to a couple of people that have passed away, and that song is called Consequences. You heard a little bit of that in the tag for the song called Middle of the Madness that I did for Ansel Brown that was released 2 years ago on Halloween. His project has more or less kind of hit a roadblock. I don't want to say too much about why. I'm not sure why, to be honest with you. I think he wants to finish it. I know we want to finish it. And either that'll happen or it won't. I mean, I guess that's where I could leave it. I know it's just been really difficult to get things lined up, and I feel like we're 3 to 4 sessions away from finishing that. And then, of course, that begs the question, what happens to my songs that were contributed to that, that basically I wrote, and, I was just going to let him release some of those. And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I do know that 2 or 3 of them really are part of the project that I did in Nashville, and I kind of want them on that album. And if they're not going to go on his album, it remains to be seen, I should say. We'll just have to figure it out. But anyway, we've talked long enough now. We've updated everybody on the happenings around town, so to speak. And I think we'll have another great week. Just keep moving forward. I am not in the studio this Wednesday, which is a rarity. Oh, I got to tell you about me having to pay the idiot tax. I put my brand new 360 camera on my drone after I was successfully able to fly one of my lighter 360 cameras. And I think it actually would have flown it, but I had to be a smart guy and put the selfie stick on there to get it further away from the drone so I'd have less to edit out. And man, it crashed so hard, and it put a scratch right on the lens, and I was like broke, and it was like $700. But I went ahead and took some test shots with it, and fortunately it scratched the lens in sort of the lower quadrant. And that's a place that's usually kind of pointed at the sky. I barely could even see where it was at because it's so close, but it wasn't really typically stuff that scratches in the center of the lens. That's your problem. This is the lower angle where it actually hit the wood deck out there. It did break a propeller on my my drone, but I think I probably got a backup, and it's certainly not a bad thing. It probably fell like 10 feet or whatever, but it was kind of coming down at an angle. And the fact that it actually had the selfie stick and my expensive camera broke the fall of the drone, so it wasn't that bad. But I feel like a moron for doing that because I could have stuck with what I knew would work, but the safer, smaller camera requires a lot of post work to make those images big enough and what I really want for my HDRI. But I digress. There's now a new HDRI script out where you can make HDRIs out of CG sets, and I'm going to explore making some sellable products out of that. I've played with it a little bit tonight, and it seems to work fine. So perhaps you'll see some of those, and it'll be crazy things like pirate islands and secret coves and things that are a lot more fantastical, space scenes and whatnot. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I don't want to beleaguer the point. It's time to chop it off here at Sunday night, getting late-ish and about ready to go home and watch some TV. And yeah, man, we're going to call it. This week's been a good one. Hope you guys have a great one, and we'll talk to you once again when Brentocast returns in episode 33. This, of course, being episode 32.